So good day everyone, we are the Group 1 and here with me today is Mr. Magdaleno Berion Jr., Augusto Kingsley, and Patrick Dale Barba. So today we are going to tackle about the important points ship officers on watch or the OOW should consider during restricted visibility. So our main objective for today's discussion is simply to tackle or to know the important points or the key points that an OOW should consider during a restricted visibility in accordance to call regs. So next slide, please. So one of the most important duties of a ship's officer on watch or the OOW is a safe and smooth navigation of the ship. During its voyage, a ship should sail through different weather and tidal streams or tidal conditions. Its duty of the navigating officer is to know and to understand the ship's sailing route well in advance and to prepare for the same circumstances accordingly. So one of the most dangerous conditions to navigate a ship is restricted visibility because of fog, heavy rain, or dust, or thunderstorms, or dust storms. So when the ship's officer gets information regarding such condition, he or the officer must prepare or should take all necessary actions and precautions to ensure the safety of the crew and the ship. That should be in accordance with SOLAS and call regs. So the next slide will be discussed by our next reporter, Mr. Magdaleno Abrion.
So here we can see that the officer is in the bridge. So this officer is the officer of the watch. It in this time it is his duty to mandate the watch on the bridge. So next slide please. So mentioned below are 10 important points that must be taken into account or to consideration for safe navigation of the ship through restricted visibility. So in entering the restricted visibility area, so we need to the officer of the watch must ensure that this following should be taken into account so that the voyage is safe and a successful voyage. So first, so number one is to know your ship inside and out. So an efficient navigating officer must know each and every aspect of his or her ship in order to prevent any kind of accident. So as an officer of the watch, so you should know that the capabilities, the 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 weaknesses of your vessel. So the officer of that should know how the ship will behave under different circumstances for restricted visibility situation. It is important that the officer of the watch know the sloping distance of the ship at any particular RPM in order to control the ship during emergency. So in this area, so the officer of the watch should know what are the capabilities of the ship and how the ship behaves under restricted visibilities. And we in restricted visibility, we cannot know what the the heading of our ship. We cannot know the current, the waves, the ship. So the officer should know the inside and out of the ship. Next slide, please.
So good evening.
So number two is to that this report is will be to the next reporter, Mr. Kingsley Augusto.
Thank you, Mr. Abarian. So, madunggan ako. So, number two. So, the number two that we should always consider during restricted visibility is to inform the master. So, during restricted visibility, it is important that the master is on the bridge. So, the OOW must call or inform the master regarding the navigating condition. So, as we all know, the master is not always present in the bridge because he is settling with other things and stuff. So, however, if it's restricted visibility, the master should always be at the bridge because, the master is the one who is overall in charge of the ship. So, the officer should also inform the engine room and ask the duty engineer to man the engine room in case it's on unmanned mode. So, aside diay sa dapat na i-master sa bridge, dapat ang engine room prepared sad sila kung restricted visibility. Kay na may uban barko nga na unmanned mode nga engine room. And next, please. So number 3, appoint adequate manpower. So it is important that enough manpower is present on the bridge in order to keep a close watch on the ship's course. So during the normal weather condition, kay okay ra duha or tulo depending on your ship, but whenever ganing restricted visibility, there will always be an extra man. So this person must be appointed as lookout. So at different locations on the ship, if there is traffic in the area, the officer must inform the engine room to have enough manpower so that the engine is also ready for immediate maneuvering. So aside na diay sa mga deck officer, kay dapat ang mga engine officers kay ready sad sila dito, and we should always appoint adequate manpower during restricted visibility, not just sa bridge but also in the different parts of the ship para mas daghang lookout. And next will be by Dale Barba.
So let us proceed to number 4. So number 4 is keep the foghorn ready. Ensure that the foghorn is working properly for the restricted area. If the horn is air operated, drain the line prior to opening the air to the horn. So in or near the area of restricted visibility, whether by day or night, the signals prescribed in the rule number 35 should be used. So one would ask, there is already a radar in the ship. Do we still need the foghorns? The short answer is yes, because not only are sound signals such as foghorns required by federal and international laws, but they are an important navigational and safety tool. Horns can warn boats away from ships, structures, and areas where they might run aground. And mariners can use the sounds along with their charts to navigate where their view is impaired by fog, smoke, and heavy rain. So let's see to number 5. Number 5 is reduce speed. So reduce the speed of the ship depending on the visibility level. If the visibility is less, bring down the ship to maneuvering RPM. So the ship should reduce the speed when there is low visibility to avoid unnecessary accidents. We can use also the rule number 6. Every vessel shall at all times proceed at a safe speed so that she can take proper and effective actions to avoid collisions, and these stop within a distance appropriate to the prevailing circumstances and conditions. So for further more information, let us watch the video presentation.
We're going to talk about restricted visibility, what action an officer of the watch has to take during restricted visibility or near an area of restricted visibility. The yacht can encounter fog anytime, and the first action which he should do is to call the master without any delay. He should also phone up the engine room. He should reduce to safe speed. Start fog signaling, sound signaling. He should increase the bridge manning. He should post extra lookouts. Also put to manual steering. It shouldn't be on autopilot. You should check that all watertight doors are closed. You should put a man on AIS and radar. You should follow Rule 19 and take action as per Rule 19. Looking at this radar screen, if you're going north and you see a target in this sector, you auto course to starboard or slow down. If you have a target in this sector, then you auto course to starboard or slow down. Bear in mind, these targets should have risk of collision with you. In this sector, you go to starboard or slow down. If you have a target and you have risk of collision, you alter course to port or slow down. If you have something right astern, you can go port or starboard either. If you have something on the beam, then you go to port or slow down. Remember, these actions are only taken when there is risk of collision. Also, anything forward of the beam, you should normally go to starboard, but if you are overtaking someone, then you have an option of going to port also. Not port only, port also. You never sound maneuvering signals in restricted visibility. You only sound your usual fog signal, which is 1 long blast if you're making way, 2 long blasts if you stop. And you never stand on in restricted visibility. Everybody is a giveaway vessel.
So that is
Thank you,
all
na.
for our report. Hope you guys have learned something. Thank you and adios.